Welcome into episode 4 of Tales from Tigertown, the voice of your flying tigers, and Arnstein with you. And I'd like to bring on a special guest, the marketing director of your flying tigers, Elizabeth Tanski. Elizabeth, how you doing today?
Good. Awesome. Happy to be here. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. Now, I kind of want to give kind of fans a sense. That's what we do here in our first segment of Tales from Tigertown, kind of what you guys do behind the scenes as staff. So how would you explain your role as marketing director to fans?
So I tell everybody all the time when they ask me, what do you do for the Tigers? And I say, it depends on the day. We all here, everyone here wears a lot of hats. And I think especially in the marketing department, we have to learn all aspects of the business, right? We have to learn the sales department. We have to learn the sponsorship department. We have to learn the game presentation, the broadcast department, to make sure that we're building a brand that is seamless across all departments of our organization. So a lot of that is the networking of different entities in our group of organization and making sure that we're all on the same page to be able to market that story out to the public.
Yeah, it's really interesting. You kind of have your hand dipped in like all these different sectors.
For sure.
How much time did that kind of take you to kind of learn every single part of it and how important it is to make sure you know everything that's going on, whether it's the broadcast sector of things, the sponsorship sector, the sale, and kind of make sure you're in tap and in tune with all these different organizations?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think a lot of it comes from is building those relationships, right? And it's being a good teammate no matter whether they're in your department or not. I spend a lot of time with Brandon, broadcast of engineer broadcast, and spend a lot of time with the sales department, making sure I'm building those relationships and learning them as people and what they do, and getting an understanding and respect for what they do, I think is huge.
Yeah. And when you look at that marketing side of things, what are some of the things you guys try to do to try to enhance the fan experience here at Tigertown?
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you that don't know, our market's a lot different, right? We're smack dab in the middle of the state of Florida, where a lot of the Florida State League teams have the beaches.
Yep.
We're also 30, 40 minutes away from Disney, depending on traffic. So we do battle the theme parks. We battle being, Lockland, everything like that. So I try to say it best. I grew up in the bar and restaurant industry. My parents owned bars and restaurants my whole life. Wow. So I grew up, I've been approaching this marketing aspect with, I need more bar regulars, right? I don't know if you guys know Bruce. He's one of our super fans downstairs, and he's here every night at the games. I need 50 more Bruces. So with that comes telling a story to the public of like, hey, this is a place to be. This is a place to come where you're going to get treated like family. You are our family, and creating that aspect of this is home. They're not going to, this isn't a one-time. We do have plenty of fans that come by when they're traveling through, but we need to build more bar regulars. They need to be coming in here more often. Think of Cheers. Like, I know everybody's name when they walk in, things like that. That's what builds the family aspect of what we're doing here. So that's really what I try to do is market that out to the public of like, hey, this is home. Yeah. We want you to come here. We want to know your first name. We want to know what you do. We want to know your pets' names, your kids' names. And we try to create that experience and showcase it to everybody.
I love that, kind of likening it to like how you grew up, again, the bar restaurant industry. You want them to be a regular. And in what ways do you guys do that to kind of make people feel like they're at home?
Yeah, absolutely. So if we're storytelling on social media, we want to show that we're having fun here, right? Whether there's 30 fans in the stands, there's 300 or there's 3,000, we're going to have the same fun, and we're going to bring the same fun every night with those different fan numbers, right? So I want to see, if I'm on social media, I want to see, hey, they look like they're having a lot of fun here. Hey, those kids are having a lot of fun. Look, their faces are painted. They're in the bounce houses. That's all complimentary. And telling a story of like, hey, I can bring my family out to the ballpark, get $2 hot dogs, jump in the bounce houses for way cheaper than I can take my kids to the movies or to the arcades or anything like that. Like, this is a family fun night and a family fun atmosphere. So I think telling that story via social media, and then when we do get them in the doors is when we make them home. This is home for them. And that's where we sell it to bring it back. I tell people all the time, before I started in the sports industry, I worked for Orange Theory Fitness for 5 years, for Orange Theory, their corporate office. And our hardest part was getting people in the doors, right? Because we were a gym, and it's intimidating and it's hard. And I like to take that approach here as well, right? It might not be as hard as intimidating, but my first step is to get them through the doors. Once I can get them through the doors, I know I can sell them and keep them here because I'm going to create that family aspect that they want to be here more. So really just telling the story of like, hey, telling it out to the public, we're having a lot of fun, a lot of family fun, family affordable fun. Come in. Once you get here, I'm going to make sure your kids want to come back next weekend.
Yeah.
You know, the kids are what brings the parents back. And if the kids are happy, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. You mentioned family fun. It's a great reminder. Family fun Fridays.
I didn't even realize it was
$2
Friday.
hot dogs. It's Friday as we record this. We're cutting the promo right here.
Yep.
Every Friday. I mean, you can't beat it.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
Yeah, and you mentioned, again, making it a memorable experience for fans. I think it's also memorable for the staff. You look at this Flying Tigers organization, you know, you guys, people love to be a part of it. In your eyes, kind of what makes this organization so special? Why do you like working for the Flying Tigers?
So I'm just going to go back to the people I work with, right? They understand this is a totally different life. We don't have a normal 9 to 5. We can't relate to our family and friends that have normal quote unquote jobs, right? Like this is a grind and this is a family, and I get to tell the story with these people. These people understand, you know, more about our lives than anybody else or the people we work with. So I really think that that plays a huge aspect into it. And, you know, even with my small children, people say all the time, well, how do you do it with your kids? And, you know, my kids, I wouldn't be the mother I am if I didn't do this job. My kids know and love me because of I am. My mom works for the Tigers. My mom works here. You know, my son will always point to, doesn't matter what baseball stadium, he'll say, that's my mom's work, you know? So I get to be that mom. And I think because I'm surrounded by such great teammates and coworkers that is what makes it worth it.
Yeah, that's really powerful to think I wouldn't be the mother I am if I didn't work, you know, in baseball and work with the Flying Tigers. That goes a long way.
I can't say that that's my words. I don't know if you know Patty Gasso. She's the head softball coach of Oklahoma, legend. Right? She did an interview one time. She said, you know, I want to go home. I got to pack it up. I got to go home and be with my kids. And she went home and they said, no, Mom, you wouldn't be the mom that we know and love if you weren't Patty Gasso, head coach of Oklahoma softball. And I relate to that, right? Like it's not a normal job. The hours are crazy, but my kids, I wouldn't be the mom I am if I wasn't, you know, director of marketing here in Tigertown. So I don't take that lightly.
Yeah. And just to round it out, kind of what can fans look forward to as we head into the thick of summer? What can fans look forward to here at the ballpark? So
we have 2 really good back-to-back giveaways coming up in the next couple months. I can't go too far into details, but we will be announcing it next week. So we have 2 of those going out, and then we're continuing our summer series T-shirt giveaway, which I think has been a really fun promotion we've done this year. It's been a surprise. They don't know till they get here, and it's kind of like a collect them all type of situation. You know, same concept of what McDonald's is doing right now with the cups, right? Yeah. Like my son wants to collect them all, so it's driving me to McDonald's to get these terrible sandwiches to get these cups. So same thing, like, you know, creating that FOMO effect of like, I got to have these 5 shirts. I have to collect them all. So that's been a lot of fun, and really just we're going to have, you know, great fireworks show tomorrow night with the 4th of July, and really just focusing on things that are going to make it easier for fans to come to the ballpark. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Elizabeth. We really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys. Yeah. Go Tigers. Go Flying Tigers, and we'll be back in just a moment for Jordan Yost on our second segment here on Episode 4 on Tales from Tigertown. Welcome back here into Episode 4 of Tales from Tigertown, the voice of your Flying Tigers, Aaron Arnstein, alongside last year's Detroit Tigers first-round draft pick and top 10 prospect, and Jordan Yost. Jordan, thanks so much for joining us. Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. Now, we were just talking off the air a little bit. You have a strong connection to this area. Of course, this being Lakeland, you grew up in Tampa, Sickles High School. Can you kind of take me through what it was like growing up in the Tampa area and kind of what it was like for you in your baseball days growing up around there? Yeah, I mean, coming from Tampa, it definitely helps as far as weather-wise, always being warm. You can always get outside and kind of any part of the year throw a baseball around or get in a cage somewhere. So I think that was definitely huge growing up there as far as not having winters where you got to go inside for the whole season, but always kind of doing baseball stuff when you want. Yeah, I find that really interesting because especially that dynamic, you talk about Sickles High School in Tampa, you made that jump from high school to pro ball, and obviously that's a big jump. So I'm curious to kind of, you know, get into your mind. Looking back at your days in high school before you were drafted,
What was something maybe you wish you knew or something you might have wished you did differently before you headed into pro ball when you were still in high school?
I don't honestly think I wish I did anything different. It's more just kind of a preparation for playing every day because in high school you get 2 7-inning games, and then you're practicing the other days. And here it's just more games, less practice. So, I mean, playing 5 or 4 days a week, every day, 9 innings is kind of a big adjustment. But yeah, that's kind of the biggest difference between I think coming from high school straight here as opposed to going to college where you're playing 4, maybe 5 days a week.
And now that we're moving into July, especially you again playing that shorter high school season, and now you're really getting into kind of the summer grind, what have you found has been kind of the most helpful things to adjust to that grind going from the high school to pro ball season?
Yeah, I think just making sure you're taking care of your body in the weight room, make sure you're stretching every day, even when you feel like you don't need it. Just kind of taking precautionary actions. So later in the season, later in the year, hopefully you can eliminate some injuries and your body can be feeling the best that it possibly can. But yeah, in high school, you kind of get away with that a little bit, not playing as much. But here, I think definitely taking care of your body is the biggest thing for sure.
Yeah. Now, going back to your days in high school, was there anything that heading into pro ball kind of surprised you or maybe something you didn't expect, whether it was on or off the field?
I think just how old all these guys are here. I think coming in out of high school, you kind of realize fast that you're one of the younger ones out there. But yeah, just I think it can help too, learning from all the older guys, the guys that have been here for a while, especially in spring training, just learning how they do things. And I think, like I said, just the biggest adjustment then being how much older and kind of bigger coming in they are.
Yeah. Now, before I want to touch on spring training, you talk about kind of that your first kind of taste of not just professional baseball, but like big league baseball. I want to go back a couple years or kind of to the current day and talk about your brother a little bit because there's a really interesting dynamic there. You're the younger brother, but you're the one in pro ball. Your older brother, Hayden, just finished up his junior year at the University of Florida. So growing up, and of course, him playing at Florida, a powerhouse, you being a first-round draft pick, obviously a lot of success in the baseball family in the Yost household. So what was that relationship or kind of that baseball dynamic growing up, you being the younger brother, him being the older brother, and both of you having so much success in the sport?
Yeah, we were always kind of following each other, and he kind of showed me the steps. I was always going to his little league games, just watching him playing kind of on the side with my parents or grandparents or stuff like that. So I was always watching him, what he was doing, and he's led me all the way up to where I am now. I think we couldn't have done it without each other. And then he, out of high school, obviously had a little bit different path going to college, and I definitely wanted to follow that same path with him. But then obviously other opportunities presented itself, so now I'm here. But I think as far as what he's done for me, it's been kind of incredible, just the way he's led me, whether it's in the cages or on the field, mentally, whatever it is, just us kind of guiding each other. And though we're on different paths right now, hopefully in the future we'll both be on the same path in the big leagues.
Yeah, 100%. Now, you mentioned, of course, you being committed to the University of Florida. Was the biggest driving force getting to play with your brother there?
Yeah, it was. And both my parents went there, so it was kind of a no-brainer for me. But then the opportunity, yeah, once he was already there, and then I got offered out of high school, that was definitely the biggest thing, just being able to play a couple years with him and kind of go from there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, kind of going back to your younger days, him being the older brother, when did you kind of figure out that you wanted to follow in his footsteps and also play baseball?
I think as soon as kind of he started throwing around in the backyard with me, I mean, we've always loved baseball just growing up. My dad was a pitcher as well, so I think he kind of introduced it to my older brother, and then I just kind of followed in their footsteps. But we've always grown up just watching kind of 24/7 baseball, just falling in love with it. So I think just throughout my whole life, that's been the goal.
Did your dad play collegiately? Did he stop at the high school level? Kind of how far along did he get?
Yeah, he played at junior college Santa Fe
Okay.
in Gainesville, actually. He was left-handed pitcher. And then after that, he transferred to Florida just for school, though. So he stopped in college, but he played pretty much his whole life as well.
Yeah, wow. So what kind of role has he played? You talked about your brother. What kind of role has your dad played in getting you and Hayden to where you guys are at now?
Yeah, probably even more, honestly. Just, I mean, I can remember being super young, him just asking to go to the cages if we wanted to be thrown to. It's always nice to have a left-handed arm for
Yeah.
Beefy every time, but yeah, he's always just guided us. He's let us do our thing, just whatever we want to do. He's there to support us, and he still throws his Beefy today, so he's been huge, just introducing us to the sport, guiding us, being supportive, always positive with us, and that's definitely led us to where we are.
Yeah, now going back to kind of what your brother has helped you with, you kind of touched on it a moment ago. In what way specifically has he helped you get to this point in your baseball career?
I think honestly, mentally, we always knew we kind of, had an ability to play, and we always had the work ethic to get to where we wanted to be. But I think it's always an adjustment, obviously coming here super young. But he's helped me just talking with me every day, just different stuff, making sure I'm doing well mentally. And I think that's honestly been the biggest thing so far. And honestly, can't thank him enough for it.
Yeah, and now kind of reversing the roles. In what ways do you think you've helped him, especially maybe since you've now gotten to pro ball and you can kind of give him that insight? In what ways do you think you've helped him get to his point or maybe prepare him for a potential pro ball experience?
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to make him comfortable as he kind of starts his journey in pro ball, just understand as far as facing pitchers, stuff like that. He's always faced kind of really good pitchers, better pitchers than I've ever faced, and now I'm here, and I think it's kind of the same level where we're at, so it's easier for us to discuss things as far as that goes. But yeah, honestly, I'm just trying to make sure he gets in a position to where he can, be successful at the next level, because that's what I know he wants to do. So we're just kind of helping each other in that way.
Yeah, I find it really interesting because we talk about, the jump from high school to college, and we're going to touch on that more a little bit later. But also the pitching disparity, like you mentioned, at the college level, especially in the SEC, it's probably comparable to single A, maybe high A. But you're going from high school all the way to pro ball. What would you say has been the biggest difference for you just facing these pitchers going from high school to pro ball?
Yeah, I just think you can't really get away with that much here as opposed to high school. You'll face a few good arms here and there, and obviously those are challenging when you're super young, but I think coming here, every arm's pretty good. So I think seeing that every day also helps. Being able to, face different guys, pitches you haven't seen before, but knowing that it all helps you in the future to see those guys. And I think just taking it one day at a time, not getting too ahead of myself, not putting too much pressure on myself, just understanding it's all a process and taking it one step at a time.
Yeah. And I think a part of kind of the adjustment to pro ball that not necessarily a lot of people realize is, yes, there's the on-field adjustment, but also off the field, especially for you, coming out of high school. I assume this is the first time you've lived on your own. What would you say has kind of been the biggest adjustment for you going off the field now that you're in pro ball, making that jump from high school?
Yeah, I think just finding a routine. Because in high school, you kind of go into school in the morning. You have a pretty set schedule every single day, and it's all the same. But here, I think, there's some things. Some days you get here a little bit earlier than others, but just kind of understanding what works for you as far as when you're waking up, eating breakfast, getting to the field, just so you're all comfortable for the game at night or during the day for that matter. But, yeah, just kind of understand what works for each player and what works for me. And I think in high school, that's a little bit more structured for you, and now it's kind of open, so just finding that routine.
So what does that routine look like for you? If you kind of just taking me through it, let's say for a 6:30 p.m. game, what does that routine look like, in the morning, maybe early afternoon, and then getting to the ballpark?
Yeah, I think sleep's definitely more important now, just with how much longer the days are compared to high school, but yeah, just trying to get in bed by 11 and getting as much sleep as possible. Usually that's sleeping until 9:30 or 10. Getting a good breakfast in, and then getting to the field around 12:30. Usually have something else to eat, and then whether we're working out or not, just making sure my body's ready for game time and making sure I'm hydrated, I think is the biggest thing as well. It's super hot out here, especially now, so making sure I'm just doing everything I can to be ready for the 6-10 stretch is kind of what my mind's at.
So you're not in the player dorms, correct? Are you in an Airbnb?
I'm in an apartment right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who are your roommates there?
Michael Oliveto and Meridian LeFew.
Okay.
So they've been good. The good roommates. It's good to live with them for sure.
Yeah. Now show them some love. I don't know if they'll be watching this, but what's it like? And I know Michael, and he is such a great dude. Obviously rehabbing back from his injury. I hope selfishly we get to see him before the season ends here at Lakeland. Yeah. But what has it been like living with those guys and getting to know those guys?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think coming home to more of a home environment is nice, and kind of having your own place. And they're two of the most supportive people. I mean, they're always preaching success on each other, and they're always asking how I'm doing, how I'm holding up. And obviously I'm doing the same to check on them. But yeah, honestly don't see them as much as I used to right now. But I mean, they're always supporting, texting me, and I think I couldn't ask for two better people to live with, especially coming in my first year.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people forget, especially if you're at the FCA level, kind of on two different schedules in a sense, where they start their days a lot earlier than us, and then we get back, and of course they're sleeping because they got to get up a lot earlier. So it's really interesting. Now, kind of take me through maybe what is your favorite, whether it's with them or with other guys, favorite off-day activity, or kind of some of your favorite hobbies away from baseball.
Yeah, I think golf. I think we've really
you got the hat, so
right.
that makes sense.
Yeah, we've really gotten into it, and I think anytime you get away from the field and get to do something else active, but also kind of enjoy the environment, I think it's pretty calm for us, and we like to have a lot of fun. We don't take it too seriously, just because we're not that good. But it's definitely a fun day nonetheless. Like, we'll go out there and for a couple hours just have a good time with each other, and I think that's probably the best activity we've done.
Yeah. Who's the best golfer between you three?
I'd say Michael. He's pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. He played in high school.
Oh.
So
no, that's not fair.
Yeah,
of course.
He gets the nod. Yeah.
That's great. Do you guys have a handicap, or do you have a handicap?
No, not officially. We just kind of go out there, and I mean, it fluctuates so much. So I don't know if we could even make one for ourselves right now, but we have a good time.
Yeah.
So.
No, I love that. Yeah, and going back to kind of Tampa, we talked about that at the beginning. You had an unforgettable moment in spring training. I mean, just kind of setting the scene for people who aren't familiar. Spring training, it's your first technically unofficial at-bat, but your first professional at-bat against the Yankees at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa, where you grew up, a place that you played growing up. Your family's in attendance, and then, again, it's your first professional at-bat. You hit a grand slam, but there was kind of a lot of drama building up to that besides everything I just mentioned. Can you take me through what it was like, kind of just that entire experience of being part of a big league camp, coming up to the plate in your hometown, and hitting a grand slam off the New York Yankees?
Yeah, I mean, I found out the day before I was going to be getting a game with those guys, and obviously I was super excited. And knowing that it was in Tampa made it even a little bit more special. So I let my parents know, and they said they'd make it to the game, and a few other family members came as well, and friends. So just that in itself was really nice, and just that made it a pretty fun time. And then it was a long day because there was a few rain delays within the actual game. But I knew I might get an opportunity to get an at-bat at the end of the game. And I ended up doing it, and obviously hit a grand slam, which is pretty cool. Just kind of capped off the whole day. But, yeah, definitely something I'll never forget, and was thankful for the opportunity for sure.
Yeah. Do you remember what it was like rounding the bases after that home run, or did you just black out?
I do remember a little bit. I definitely was really excited. Kind of just I was looking at my family a little bit, just seeing what their reaction was. But no, that was definitely fun. I do remember it, which is good. So hopefully more to come.
Yeah, of course. Talk about an introduction to pro ball. You're with the big league club during that time. I saw a video of taking grounders with Javi Baez. Kind of what did you take away from your time being with the big league guys for that short time in the spring?
Yeah, I think I was trying to watch just as many different players as I could. And honestly, some of the rehabbers that are here right now do the same thing, just how they prepare for each game, how they prepare for each at-bat. I think just how calm they all are. I mean, they've played so many games in their career already, and I haven't. So I think just understand how calm they are, and they're just focused on what they need to do on the field, and kind of all the outside stuff is pretty irrelevant at that time. So yeah, just seeing what they do and trying to take it all in. It's been definitely helpful here in my first year, and in spring being around all those guys was really cool.
whether it's been rehabbers here, like, of course, we have Josue Briseño, Tigers' top 3 prospect rehabbing as we record this, or if it was during spring training, was there any guys, big league guys, or maybe top prospects who are further down the road that you were able to pick their brains, and kind of what advice did they give you?
Yeah, I talked to Kevin a little bit just because we had a few BP sessions together. So that was pretty cool just to see what his approaches are and stuff like that. But also Trey Sweeney, being a rehabber right now, had a few live ABs with him. But I think it's just having a simple approach and sticking to it, committing to it, not kind of straying from that, not tinkering stuff every day, but just knowing what you can do, believing in yourself, and then going out there and doing it and trusting that the work you put in the cages and kind of everywhere else outside the game will pay off in the game. So, just staying simple and trusting yourself.
Mm-hmm. Now, looking at this season as a whole, being your first season, full season as a professional, what have you kind of taken away from the season so far? Or maybe what is something you've learned about yourself or about this game that you didn't necessarily realize heading into this 2026 campaign?
Yeah, I think just kind of every day, you're going to have such ups and downs, and I think in high school you don't really get that too often. But yeah, just taking away every day is a new day, and kind of what you do today will have nothing to do with what you do tomorrow, and just kind of resetting your mind after every night. I think that's one of the biggest things I've taken away so far. And then just, playing every day. I mean, we never play close to this many games in high school, so just understanding that, you need to take it step by step and trust the process. And at the end of the year, hopefully it'll all turn out how you want it to, but you can't get too ahead of yourself.
Yeah, you mentioned resetting your mind. How do you do that coming into a new day?
Yeah, I think after the previous night's game, I think after you get in the shower and kind of eat, once you go back, for me, the apartment, I think it's a new day after that. You go to bed, you think about maybe a little stuff, but as soon as the sun comes up the next day, it's a new day, and you have another game that day. So it's, just kind of taking deep breaths, and I think just trusting my faith as well, understanding that it's a big part of our family, and I think as far as being in control, like God's all in control of our life, so we got to do what we can and try our hardest for him, and then after that, it's all up to him.
Mm-hmm. Now, just to end on another fun one, going back to the offseason, I love asking guys this. You get all sorts of answers. What was your favorite off-season activity, non-baseball activity, that you've done either this past off-season or maybe, other winters in the past?
I'd say the same thing, golf.
Golf.
Like, it's become big just because it's just more peaceful for me just to kind of get off the baseball field. But yeah, I mean, I think you could still be competitive, and I think that's kind of what I like about it. You're still doing something that's difficult, and I think that honestly helps you in baseball too. Moving on from each shot to shot or at bat to at bat. Mm-hmm. Like you gotta do something different if it's not working, and I think just at the end of the day, trust yourself. So
yeah, were there any family trips that you took growing up that were memorable for you?
Yeah, we actually did a few baseball road trips, whether it was to Texas to go see the Rangers and Astros, or we saw all the California teams one year.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool.
Southern and Northern?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a trek.
It was, yeah. But it was a lot of fun. Just to get to go to all those stadiums at one time and kind of experience all different big league teams out there. Those are trips we definitely enjoy, and I'm glad I remember some of them just because we took them when I was super young, but I think they were that memorable, so it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, how long was that California trip? That must have been a while.
Probably about a week or a week and a half just to get to all the teams and travel and stuff like that, but that's about all I remember from that.
How old were you?
Maybe 7 or 8.
That's a pretty cool one of your first baseball memories, I assume.
Yeah, it is, definitely. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Jordan, I want to thank you for coming on, and we want to thank Elizabeth, of course, Brandon behind the scenes, and everybody who's kind of helped out as we finish up episode 4 here from Tales for Tigertown. Again, a huge thank you to Jordan Yost, the Tigers' first-round pick from last year, and we'll be back in just a couple weeks with another episode 5 coming up, and we thank you all for joining us here from Tales from Tigertown.